right, hello, Sooner Nation. I didn't stop the music like abruptly like I did last time, but I've got my Danny Stutzman shirt on, the Oklahoma Fears God, Texas Fears Oklahoma shirt from a couple years ago. So I thought it is
Positive vibes.
It's OU Texas week, and thank God me and Goss waited to do the pod a day late because we got John Mateer news. So
Yeah.
Goss,
So,
Goss will let you start it.
Shocking to absolutely no one. It looks like John Mateer is at least going to try to give it a go. I know some people were a little surprised to see him updated to probable today, and where he was questionable yesterday. I think this smart money would have just said he keeps him questionable the whole day, but I'm not really surprised. I mean, here's the deal. I mean, if you think Texas, number one, Texas game plan. I mean, Sark even said this. Texas was game planning for Mateer anyway. I mean, if you've got two things you're planning for, you plan for the more difficult one, and you're able to play against the less difficult one. Texas is not going to be upset if Mike Hawkins is under center, and they're going to be like, you know what? Dang it, we prepared for John Mateer. Okay, but they would be really upset if they had prepared for Mike Hawkins and then John Mateer comes out there. But
we were prepared for the better thrower. Dadgummit.
Yes. That being said, I'm not going to sit here and shoot rainbows and sunshine on you and say, yeah, guys, Mateer is perfectly fine. He's not going to be hesitant at all to run the ball. We're going to run our full offense. He's going to be able to just do everything he did before. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think there'll be some limitations. I think we would be bullheaded to think they're not, but I also don't think that there's a chance that John Mateer is going to go out there and be tentative. That's not who John Mateer is. John Mateer is, I mean, guys, why do we love him so much? Who does he remind us of? Baker. Okay. I mean, did we see Baker getting into it pregame the other day in the tunnel with the fans? I mean, I was showing my wife, who would definitely leave me for Baker Mayfield. And I wouldn't blame her if she did. It's fine.
I would actually tell my wife too. So it's cool.
But that being said, I was showing her an interview where he had a press deal, and they were just like, have you grown up? Blah, 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 blah. Have you matured with this stuff? And he's kind of like, well, I've matured some, but I'm the same crap talker I've always been. But now that I've won more, it's more about my swagger and my all this, where, and it's just like, but that's who Baker is. That's who we wanted another version of. And that's what, BV went out and found with Arbuckle and Mateer. So, I mean, this is what we want, guys. We want him playing. Anyone spinning this as we don't want Mateer playing, choose joy. Choose joy. Be happy our most important player on our team is going to play.
Well, and don't you feel like if Venables felt like he was going to be a hindrance on the team and like didn't give him the best chance to win, you think he's going to play him? Like, there's a reason he took him indoor Tuesday, because he's like, let's give him the gauntlet to see how ready he is. And I think really the only thing they're worrying about is what his feeling is on when he holds the ball. I think that's going to be the big thing on Saturday. Like, is he numb when he holds the ball? Like, can he grip it? Or, like, is it no pain and he can – now, that said, if he does play, let's say he goes out and beat Texas, at the Heisman ceremony, Dr. Shin will be there. I can promise you. They've already,
what percent chance – everybody knows I love giving Jeremy percentages and quizzes and that sort of thing. And I do have some fun factoids for you later. But what percent chance is Dr. Shin in either a hype video pregame or the scene setter? I say he's in the scene setter this week. I'm going to go out and say I think he's in the scene setter.
I don't know if you heard Gabe, but Gabe said they were realistically trying to get Dr. Shin on the intro video against Kent State. So
I think he will be on the scene setter this week.
It will happen. I don't know if Dr. Shin knows this yet, because
it may be one of the internet memes of Dr. Shin. But
what's really hilarious, this is a man that has, operated on just legends. I mean, Kobe Bryant, just
Steph
guys that
Curry,
are just
J-Dub. Yeah.
and people are like, this is what is going to make him. I'm like,
Famous.
no, I'm pretty
Yes.
sure that he's a made man right now. So you don't have to. I don't think John Mateer's little hand that had no screw put in it and has one Band-Aid on it. It's like he didn't do God's work here. He didn't do a miracle here. But that said, as OU fans, all we see it as is this is our chance to win a national championship, and Dr. Shin is an angel sent from heaven. So I just love how that is how it's taken. So,
But okay. So we all think this is going to be Mateer. So I don't think there's any point in us breaking down what happens, whether it's Mateer or whether it's not. I think we're going to get Mateer, whether it's 70% of Mateer, 80% of Mateer, 100% of Mateer, whatever it is. But also know, I think he's getting the same shot that Nussmeier got last year at LSU. So I'm going to get 2 before the game, 2 at halftime, and go do it. Going into that, Jeremy, let's talk offense first, then we'll talk defense. Who else on offense are you looking at going into Saturday other than Mateer? Like what's something else you're going to be monitoring, you're going to be watching?
There are 2 names, and I get tired of saying this, but I think he's going. They've got something for him. Jaden Ott. I think he's going to have to be big, but also too Deion Burks. We haven't heard a lot of Deion Burks.
I agree. I think those are good takes.
But also too, we're talking about injuries. Can we also look at Keontae Lewis is now questionable? But that said, for that guy to even be questionable after that hit that he took.
And I actually saw a report earlier. I'm not sure who it was from. It may have been from Cap. But there was thoughts that he was going to be probable tonight too. So I do think it is trending toward Keontae to play.
But man, don't you feel like Deion Burks?
Oh, I think that's a great one, Jeremy.
He is like, he's got that chance to break out, and like you bring John Mateer back. John Mateer and him have a good relationship. I just feel like he's going to have a big game if they win.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think that's something to look at. And maybe he can have, this is a game we lost, but, think about Hollywood in the Kyler game, just some of the big plays and things that we did. And, if you watched any of the Texas-Florida game last week, that, and those are different kind of receivers. I get that. They're a little bigger guys and that sort of thing. And it sounds like Muhammad, I didn't see. Was Muhammad updated to probable on that too? I think for Texas, I really can't remember.
I think he was probable. But.
Yeah, but it sounds like he's going to play. And I do think that was part of Texas's problem last week. But long story short, I think using Deion has to be a big part. We've got to get some big plays at receiver. The 2 names that, in addition to Jeremy's, that I'm interested to see is which Derek Simmons are we going to get? Are we going to get the Derek Simmons we saw against Auburn and Michigan, or are we going to get the guy who had a hard time blocking against Kent State? Hopefully, when he played against a better competition, that's the guy that we're going to get. And the guy for me, I think Kanik can be a big part of this, because I think Texas, I think this was Gabe and Teddy, or it could have been somebody else talking about one of their backers is a guy who'd played a lot of edge before. If we can get a guy who used to play defensive end trying to guard Kanik in space, I think that's something we could have a lot of success in. We've seen a lot of big tight end games in this, whether it's, Andrews down the sideline, or, let's just hope we don't see Kanik playing quarterback like we did Braden Willis. But we've seen lots of big
or the great Bauer Sharp.
yeah, exactly. Who? Never heard of him. But
there will be no Bauer Sharp hate on this.
Yeah. Remember. Shout out to Bauer's grandma. I know she's a listener.
Sweet little grandma. We will never talk crap about Bauer Sharp.
So
that woman doesn't know how much she means to
this podcast. A podcast, huh? Is that like a radio show? That's neat.
Why do they keep talking mess about my grandson?
Yes.
He
But
just threw one pass.
yeah, I mean, he had one bad pass, no big deal. He already knew he was going here. He wanted to make new friends.
He was beating the hell out
But
of him.
anywho, as we have digressed into granny talk here, I am interested to see. I don't think Texas is as good up front on either side of the ball, but even on the defensive line as they were last year, obviously, especially at D tackle. But can Simmons hold his own at the end? I would expect to see more Javonte Barnes this week than we saw last week, which was none, because I do think Javonte does a good job in pass coverage. I mean, in blitz coverage.
Yeah, pick up.
Picking up blitzers and that sort of thing. And do think that's something that you would worry about, obviously, with Mateer of, getting hit on that hand when you don't expect it and that sort of thing. So those are probably the people that I'm looking forward the most. And like Jeremy said, they're still a part of me. I saw Florida run on them last week. There's still a part of me that hopes Jaden Hott goes out and runs for 110 yards, or maybe Blaylock has one of those Damian Williams 93-yard bust runs. We're still looking for that. Hope that happens, but also know that Texas is really talented. If we didn't bust them against Kent State, we're probably not going to bust them against Texas.
Well, I guess the reason I mentioned Jaden Hott is because I felt like we were seeing some flashes of him, and they just shut him down. It's like,
did you not think that Gabe was unnecessarily rough on Ott this last week? And I always take, and we've talked, you guys listen, know, and Jeremy and I obviously know Teddy, but that's state radio, guys. I mean, things that said out of there is coming from there, and maybe that explains some of the reason that Ott is where he has been on the placement and all that. But that just seemed a little harsh for Gabe, and it seemed a little biased more so than it usually is. And I feel like there's some deeper meaning to that in there somewhere. And I'm not trying to get conspiratorial here on you, but to do the Wimby, that sort of thing.
Is it placed there? Is it asked to be placed there on purpose?
Yeah.
Is another thing that you look at. So
I don't know. Or maybe it's still the biggest distraction. Hey, look over here. And he's going to carry the ball 22 times for 178 yards Saturday. Well, and that'd be sweet if he did.
Well, and my deal is like, it goes to when you have a young, just like line that's trying to mesh, you can't have a bowling ball Blaylock is really good and he gets some good runs, but there's a lot of runs that I look at and I say, God, he kick it outside. And then you watch Ott run and he's slow, waiting for it to progress, then hits it. And and what did they pick up Ott for? Is because they picked him up for his running, but more for his pass catching. And I'm like, there's how much we saw one pass to Jaden on, it was thrown to his ankles. So I just to me, it just there's too much stuff where I'm just like, it just feels like they toned him down. Like, whoa, crap, we're showing too much for Texas.
Let's kind of put a bow on the offense here a little bit. How many points do you think we need? How many points do you think are realistic for us in this game?
I think we need at least 20.
I agree.
I do not think that Texas can score more than 17 points against us.
Mm-hmm.
And I really nothing that I've seen from our defense. There's some spots that I look and I say, hey, we got burnt, but I just feel like
that'll dove right into that. For me, I mean, I'm in the same boat, and I'll kind of take this into talking about our defense. I think Texas is a little better offensively than what they've shown. I do. As good as I think our defense is, and I think it's a top-tier defense, we haven't played a quarterback who's a great thrower of the football. We really haven't. And I do think Arch throws a good go ball, if nothing else. And I think we give up a long touchdown. We may give up two.
Yeah.
I think something freaky happens. That's where I think we need 24 to win this game. I think maybe we might need 28 to win this game, just because this is OU Texas, man, and something freaky is going to happen. I mean, last 2 years we've had picks in the first three, in the first 3 plays. Last year I was getting into the stadium. Well, but I didn't like the route we took to get in. We took it, got in late. I missed the first couple of plays. Totally, probably why we lost.
You probably complained the whole first half about it.
You know what I do really well, Jeremy, is I really like not being early to things. And
that's why I said the first half was probably ruined for Aaron. Aaron probably heard about, you're like, you know what? We shouldn't have gone this route, but we win it. So here we are. Missed 2 plays. 2 plays is what we missed. And it's on you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Aaron. I'm sorry. You married into it. It's your fault, okay?
Well, look at this.
I'm done.
But
you definitely didn't marry him for his looks.
Or my money.
Yeah, that's what I tell my wife all the time.
This podcast is sponsored by Goss Pest Control, serving your pest control needs for the greater Muskogee County area since 70-something?
19-something.
Call Dick Goss, 918-616-1031. He still works, knee replacement and all. We'll see if Dad gets any calls for that. Like, I heard you about it where? That thing him and Downing do? Nobody listens to that crap.
They ain't getting no bird dogs for that. I'll tell you that much.
But smell the city on them boys. But anyway,
we went like 5 references to your dad, right there. I mean, believe me, I could do a whole pod about your dad,
but something goofy is going to happen. Okay, whether it's whatever, but don't you think, Jeremy, the game is really going to come down to, can Texas's offensive line block our defensive line?
Oh, absolutely. We were talking before we got on the pod here. I said, I feel like Arch Manning's going to have a game like Jackson Arnold had last year against Tennessee. There's rumblings. You remember last year going to Tennessee, everybody's like, Jackson Arnold is not the quarterback that we thought he was. What are they saying about Arch Manning? Arch Manning's not the quarterback we thought he was. Jackson goes, makes some mistakes. Arch holds on to the ball, in my opinion, too long, just like Jackson Arnold. If I was game planning for the University of Oklahoma defense, I would say get the ball out quick. If you hold on to it too long, there's going to be about 4 or 5 guys on you. And there are going to be about 5 different guys each snap. Because our depth is so deep that I almost feel like if we had this defense for Lincoln Riley's offense, I think we'd still be fine.
Yeah.
Not that, I mean, we might give up some more points just because we're on the field a lot, but how many bodies do we rotate, especially defensive line? I just watch how we rotate in and out. And it's just like, I'm in awe that the depth that is that we have on the defensive side of the football, because I mean we have dudes all over the football field.
Kent State's terrible, but we did what we did without. I mean, you can make an argument Jaden Jackson's our best player, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
didn't even play him. I think honestly,
David Stone's our best player.
David Stone's our best player.
I think we know that, but I mean, you can make that argument. We're not going to, but you can make that argument. And I mean, Dominic Williams could be, and I don't think anymore. I think Jackson and Stone probably bypassed him, but this is the guy who probably at one point was the highest paid player on our defense, right?
Not to mention, you put him on another
definitely our highest paid defensive lineman. I mean, now he's probably 4th. I figure R. Mason and Jackson and Stone probably both make more than Dominic does. But I mean, this is a big money baby who's a really good player and sometimes gets lost in the shuffle too. I just think that's what it's going to come down to. I think probably if Stephen Goss was in charge, and if Brent calls me and says, "Hey, Goss, I really need to know, who would you start at corner? Would you go ahead and start Guillory, or would you start Bowen and Williams?" I would start Bowen and Williams. I would.
I'm 100% with you on that. Now I'm glad you brought that up, because that was you're going to be like, "Hey, who do you think's going to look for defense?" I'd have been like, Eli Bowen, because
Yeah.
I think Eli Bowen they didn't play him a whole lot of, I mean, I don't know how many snaps he got against Kent State, but
Yeah.
they didn't need him for Kent State. They needed
No.
him and nothing against Gilroy. He's
And he's
played
going to
great.
play. I mean, he's going to, I mean,
Play,
like,
but
yeah, I mean,
you're too, like, I can't emphasize enough how big it is to have a healthy Gentry Williams. When you can take one side of the field away, I watched like some of these games this year. How many times do they even throw to Gentry Williams' side? Have you noticed that?
they don't. I mean, like, he just
No one.
doesn't get.
He has a Deion Sanders type,
Yes.
like, side of the ball. Like, people are like, well, I understand they're testing a freshman. And that, I mean, if you're a smart football coach, do you go after the corner who's probably going to be in the NFL, or you go after a true freshman? Pretty easy decision. Yeah. But that said, they don't even throw to Gentry's side. Gentry's probably like, this sucks. Like, is somebody going to throw me so I can hurt my shoulder? But every time I watch him tackle, I'm just like, please God, hopefully you don't hurt his shoulder, because I mean, he is a game changer. He is, to me, the closest thing to Derek Strait that we've ever had. If you want my opinion about what I feel about Gentry Williams, when Derek Strait was at OU, we won national championships. We had unbelievable defenses, but the reason was we could put a corner on a side of the football, and they weren't throwing to that side. So,
yeah. I mean, okay, I've heard different people say, because we all, this isn't a unique thought for me talking about thinking they're going to get a long touchdown. I think every person you talk to, listen to Game Teddy had Fozzie Whitaker on. I listened to, I think it was Pate at one point. And, we'll throw this out there. Those guys who have kind of been on OU's corner all along, Pate, JD, Picknell, all those guys, they've all picked Texas this week. So kind of interesting to see that. But going back to that, they all kind of like talk about that no one's as good as Coleman at receiver, but they won't just say it because they don't want to be mean to Jackson. But I think Arch is better than Jackson. I mean, I do. I think he is.
We can't be naive enough to be like, they're the exact same quarterback.
But that being said, there is some concern there. But, yeah, I mean, that's what makes our defense, right? You've got to have corners who can stand up without having to play over the top. I mean, that's one reason Texas got beat last week by Florida is they played two high safeties the whole game. And so Florida was smart enough to just run it. And I do think in some ways, and I'm wondering if maybe this could happen to OU too. Florida, because DJ Lagway was banged up, didn't run DJ Lagway as much and actually leaned on their running backs more and were able to have more of a running game than they were probably anticipated to have. So maybe that could be something that comes out of this positive for OU out of it. I definitely think we have an advantage at kicker too. Our kicker's been awesome. Our punter's been awesome. But it's going to be a lot different doing it and at the Cotton Bowl than it is doing it anywhere else.
This is where legends are made. I was talking to my brother earlier, and shout out to my brother. It's his birthday today. So
happy birthday, Brad.
He has asked for an OU win like he does every year on his birthday. But we were talking about just like this game, and I said, I can never bet on this game. I remember when I was in college, he lived in Frisco, and we would always go to a different bar every game. This is our tradition. We would go to a different bar every game, and we'd go to a bar that was OU Texas split because we never wanted to go just to an OU watch party because it was so awesome when we beat Texas to watch those Texas fans just like, I'll never forget. It was probably 2000. I think it was 2002. A guy was wearing a Major Applewhite jersey, and he was at a bar, and he might have had
white.
Yeah. And he he was probably had way too many pops, but he was laying down on the bar and he said, "I need a new effing team." This was after about the third straight win we've had against him. But these are the stories you get from this game. Legends are made, and it's one play can define your whole football career.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
without a doubt. I mean,
how many
do
times do
we
you hear
all
about the
not
Trey Milliard one? You know,
I
it's
mean,
like,
there's so many, and there's so many legends that were made, and the game is just such a roller coaster pendulum of emotions, and you've got to swing it back, and
yeah,
that's where I think the maturity of Mateer is such a big deal. And let's just I'll talk for 13 seconds. If Hawkins does have to play, Hawkins did play in it last year. Now he didn't play
he
well,
did.
but he did play in it last year. But it's the pendulum swings. It's Mac Brown once got quoted that he felt like every OU Texas game was 5 years of his life that got taken down. And
I feel
even
the
if you
same
don't
way.
like, and even if you don't like Mac, you know, Mac's a good dude, and I just think that's even though I want
You
to
will
answer
never
that,
hear hate talk from Mac Brown. To
you know,
me, he
I mean,
and if you
I
hey,
like.
what's really funny if you talk to
If you
Texas
didn't think
fans,
Mac Brown was pretty good, look at what Belichick's doing now.
hey, and also too, if you talk to Texas fans,
Mhm.
they love Mac Brown, and they think one of the biggest mistakes of the Texas program was letting go of Mac Brown. I said, yeah, that's what we did with Gary Gibbs.
So yeah, exactly. Couple
I
of
mean,
funny
Gary Gibbs didn't win
factoids.
national championship.
Couple of funny fact stories I wanted to share. Okay, 1985, OU's ahead. And did you know that OU, the Sooner Schooner, goes out to celebrate a touchdown? It was a little damp that day. The Schooner got stuck in the turf, and OU that's the only unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that was ever thrown on a wagon. And so, the Schooner does have a penalty. Another funny one is back in 1967. They tried to brand some OU frat people. Some OU frat people tried to go stick an OU brand onto Bevo and got caught. But I guess there was a faint OU that was just on him during that entire game. But this is probably my most fun one. Is allegedly back in this is pre 1950, there was a bridge on the Red River that the two students would meet on the Red River and would just have a Donnybrook, an all-out brawl fist fight amongst each other until it was broken up by the police. And the winner was usually declared by which police group broke them up, whether it was the Texas Rangers or if it was like the Oklahoma, there wasn't a highway, I guess, back then. But, Jeremy and
Oklahoma
I,
police guys.
Jeremy and I were at an OU Texas one time, and this is when George W. Bush's daughters were in school at UT. And no, this isn't the story where I'm going to tell you that Jeremy and I, used to date the Bush daughters or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but
that was a crazy time, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was pretty cool. Remember, how we could see them over there. We're all down there on Friday night, and you could see all the Secret Service people just kind of surrounding them, throughout a deal. And we were
like, can we buy them? Can we buy them a drink? Is that necessary? I just want to go get your number. That's cool. So.
She keeps looking at me, Downing. She keeps looking at me. I can tell she wants me, but I'm nah.
She's putting out the vibe. She's putting out the vibe, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
but lots of memories for us, from celebrating that Roy made the Superman play to being frustrated that it was Teddy who caught it. We've got lots.
Teddy.
We've got lots and lots of happy memories there. I am going down. I'm going to go down really early Saturday morning.
No.
Everybody's got their route down there. I've got, duty calls. I've got to work tomorrow night. Got a home football game. So we'll get up early, but Jeremy knows me getting up early is no big deal.
Yeah, Goss has a map. Believe me, he's already got it mapped out.
I do.
He's had it mapped out for 2 weeks.
I'm meeting. I'm going to get on the train in Richardson, ride the train down. So don't want to pay for parking. Don't want to park. I mean, Jeremy and I can tell you some of the sketchy places we have parked. And lucky that our car had rims and we came back, but it did.
That's the perks of being from Muskogee.
Yeah, no big deal. We knew we could. We were cool enough. That being said, I'm really excited about it. Any other just Texas game thoughts, Jeremy, before we get into score predictions?
What you just brought up, I'll never forget sitting in your parents' house whenever the Superman play happened, and we went crazy. And you go, "Oh, it's Teddy!" They caught it. It was like a change up. Teddy, I'm sure you're listening to this pod, but we were just bitter. We were just out of high school. It's a rivalry. Okay, Hilldale, Fort Gibson. It's how it always has been. So that is one that I will never forget. Me and Lindsay went to the I think it was the Baker game we won, where Westbrook had like 250 yards receiving, and it seemed like every pass that Baker threw for a touchdown that literally catapulted Baker and Dede to the Heisman. They weren't going to win the Heisman because they were basically taking votes away from each other, but those two were going. So that was just me, and we actually got tickets given to us from a doctor that she worked with. So she shout out to Dr. Childs it was like that whole weekend. We went to we stayed at a hotel where there were a bunch of OU fans, and it's just like I could go down the endless list. Like I said, me and my brother used to go to a different bar every year to watch the game.
And Jeremy and I have stayed in Brad's old apartment and went to a game. We've done that before. So again, shout out to Brad. I think one I'd be remiss to forget. It's 2003, my senior year of college, my senior plus semester that I had. Shout out biochemistry degree, but anyway. Because genius that OU had of the two classes I need to graduate in the spring, both offered at the same time. But anyway, make long story short, let me finish the story and why it's interesting, not my degree. The interesting part is I decided that time I was just going to buy a single student ticket. I wasn't going to try to sit by anybody because I heard that's where you get the best possible seat. And that was true. I literally sat at the 50-yard line at a Texas fan right next to me. I was on row 12. And had a Texas fan right next to me. And the best part about 2003, we won that game 65-13. So if you're ever going to sit by a Texas fan there, 65-13 is a great time to have a Texas fan sitting next to you. So absolutely. With that prediction, Jeremy, do you want to predict the score 65-13 again, or do you have another score?
I would be happy to be completely wrong with the prediction I'm about to give, and it'd be 65-13, but I'm saying 23-13 OU.
Okay.
I just feel like that's just we're not going to put up a lot of points. I think we're going to try to kill some clock and just be a game management and complementary our defense. So,
yeah. Okay. I'm going 23-20 OU. Is what I'm going to go.
Okay, so you think our defense sucks? Cool. All right.
Yeah. I think we're terrible.
Right. I didn't realize you thought our defense sucks.
Boss just said no. But
yes, our next pod is going to be asking Steve why he feels our defense is so horrible. So
yeah, exactly. But super excited, guys. For our post game pod, we are going to get a Goss on the road post game pod because I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to be. But it will be Goss on the road for the post game pod. So
it'll be sponsored by the restaurant that he's at.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to go in there and be like, hey, can you guys sponsor this podcast? Or like, who the hell are you?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I can get at least like some percentage off my meal or something. Sponsored by Popeye's Chicken. Because Goss loves some Popeyes. Yes. But anyway, thanks, guys. Soonercast@gmail.com. We appreciate all the YouTube comments we got last time. We love those. We love talking to you guys. We love that, it's getting closer and closer to a year that we've been doing this. Jeremy and I enjoy doing this, but we really enjoy the time that we get to see the interactions we have with other people. Yeah. Jeremy and I have a great time doing this, and it's going to be a great time in Texas, but only if we win. Because my last story I'll tell you is last year after we lost, I'm ticked off and I'm stomping around through there, and I look up and I'm about to walk through the fair, and I'm walking back to the fair, and I get stopped. And they rope off, and there's this, and the cops are there, and I'm like, man, what? God, I just want to freaking go. And I didn't want to be at the fair anymore. I wanted to go. And so I look up there, and here comes this golf cart, and it's Matthew freaking McConaughey in the golf cart, and he's just going, and looks me dead in the eye, going, hook 'em. And just gives me one of these, and I'm talking, he's me to my computer screen away from me, and Aaron's like, oh, he is that good looking even in person. I'm like, freaking McConaughey, get out of the way. So hopefully I get to see McConaughey, and I get to go down to him after this game. So thanks again, guys.
Hey, also to subscribe to us on YouTube. We've been hitting some subscribers here, like one at a time. Let's get a big one after this, especially after we beat Texas. So
let's be at 125 by the next time we talk. It's on you, Sooner Nation. We need to be there.
Yeah, if it's not, then you're dead to us. Okay, no, I'm just joking. Guys, thanks for listening. Until next time, after when Goss is on the road, Boomer Sooner.
Boomer.